Welcome back, or welcome for the first time, to the Arclight podcast. Today we're filming our second episode, and we could not be any more excited. We had a decent amount of support, more than we thought we would, for the first episode, where we actually had about 20 listeners over Spotify, and I checked this morning, I uploaded it to YouTube last night, and we already have like 3 or 4 views now. So, we're a little over 20. Not bad for our first one. Today here I'm joined by, once again, Cameron.
Poggers.
And today our third cast member here, Patrick.
Heyo.
And behind the microphones, behind everything, behind the studio set, we got our buddy Jim Bob back here. He's waving. Of course, you can't see that, but, it be what it be. Anyways, so today we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got the Summer Games Fest presentation that happened this past Thursday. We've got a couple things in our news flash section, which some of you may remember from last week being our minor headlines. And we got to talk about what we all think is coming with the Xbox Bethesda predictions, since that presentation is tomorrow, and we won't get to talk about it again until next Saturday. So how are you guys feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. I got this Mountain Dew Hard. It's pretty good. I gotta say, it's 5% alcohol, and it tastes better than normal Mountain Dew.
It's definitely dangerous.
Yeah, like, for sure. Thanks to Pat for snagging these while he was out of state for us. It's pretty good. We all have a different flavor here.
Well, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it illegal to bring? Isn't Pat a criminal now for bringing this across state lines?
No, it's just not sold here yet.
It's not like hard drugs.
It's definitely hard though.
It definitely is hard. Yes.
But anyway, yeah. So Mountain Dew Hard, it's good.
It's very good.
Certified. Banger. Can't wait till it gets over here in Delaware. But anyway, back to the gaming casual talk. Nothing really crazy going on. Just playing Final Fantasy 14. So that's pretty much what I would know too.
I kind of feel the same there. I'm kind of getting back in the swing of things, coming back from my vacation. Also trying to ease my way.
Weird flex.
Ease my way back into 14, and trying to pick up some other games in my backlog.
Nice.
Like what? What's in your backlog?
Well, I just started Evil Within today. I don't usually do horror. Kind of a baby when it comes to that, so trying out Evil Within. Apparently it's good. The second one's also apparently really good. So
isn't that done by someone who's pretty important?
It was the original Resident Evil creator,
yeah,
I think, right?
Shinji Mikami.
Okay.
So
cool. Yeah, I'm also not really big into horror games, so I will. Only time I'm playing those is if it's like a group of friends. So.
Same. I'm not big into horror. I think the only one I've really tried to play by myself is after the initial playthrough of Resident Evil 7, that first night where we all played it in VR together. Mm-hmm. I tried to soldier on through by myself, and I didn't last long. First time homeboy busted through a wall, I turned that system off in a heartbeat.
Immediate shut off.
We're done here. I've seen all I need to see from this, and we will not be playing anymore.
I said we were about an hour and a half in, didn't surrender, I unplugged my console.
Yeah, right. Oh man, Paragon, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I think we could do a whole episode dedicated to Paragon.
Slower news week, definitely, for sure.
Paragon is definitely a guilty pleasure.
It would still be a guilty pleasure,
yeah.
But anyway, so Eric, what have you been casually up to since last week?
Last week, not a lot, honestly. I've played a little bit of Final Fantasy 14 here and there. I've recently started up the original Final Fantasy on PlayStation 1. I mean, I know it's not the original version of it, but the first Final Fantasy. I am a huge Final Fantasy fan, but if I'm going to have to be honest here for a second, I've really not beaten any of them but 14. So...
I mean, you beat Remake.
I did beat Remake, you're right, but I'm talking like the mainline games. The closest I've gotten is 8, and I'm stuck on the final boss.
So you haven't beat any of them?
Outside of 14 and 7 Remake. Yeah, nah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. I've played pretty much all of them. I've just never committed to any of them, but I enjoy them. I know a lot about them. I'm one of those, I enjoy the games, I think, a lot more from an observer standpoint than I do an actual play game standpoint.
This is big.
Yeah, no.
I was under the impression you've played all of them and beat all of them.
No, I've played all of them.
I see.
I haven't beat all of them. I'm also fairly close to beating 15, but I don't really count that one. So
the only one that I've only played 7 original, I've played from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
Crisis Core, I played from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
Remake, I played from start to finish, and I'm 30 hours into Final Fantasy 13. So, yeah,
And
I'm not gonna pretend.
I'm about saying you and Pat both recently beat Realm Reborn. For
Yeah,
Final
so
Fantasy
Realm
14.
Reborn.
So base game Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah,
We ran through that in like 30 something hours. It wasn't that bad.
Hold on. We also beat me and you, Eric, Final Fantasy Origin.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah, Final Fantasy Origin Stranger in Paradise. That was a fun game.
Definitely
Chaos.
underrated.
And I think it's definitely what sparked me to wanting to go back and finally play through all the Final Fantasies in order, starting with 1 because it's a prequel to 1, surprisingly.
With chaos.
Yeah, no, the Chaos
Lots
stuff
of
was actually...
chaos.
It was a fun meme, but actually playing through the story, it actually kind of gets deep by the ending.
Jack, a.k.a. Mr. Final Fantasy.
Yeah, Jack definitely became one of my favorite Final Fantasy protagonists by the end of that game. So it was very
Still the
interesting
most
for me.
generic looking one though.
Oh, absolutely, but
They didn't really put a whole. It's literally he's like the John Halo of Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Yes, so 14 is great though. I think we're definitely planning on doing a whole 14 episode. Because by the time we do that episode, we should be done at least all of the free trial content at that point, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, Heaven's Word should.
So
We definitely started off the beginning of Heaven's Word with you two.
Mhm.
Was a lot quicker than I thought it was going to be.
mhm.
So I could see us if we really put in some gaming sessions over the next week or two. Next week or two be done, depending on
Yeah, and then
how
we
much
can get
time we put in.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that now that Pat is back from vacation because it's been rough out here. Like I like doing the duties where you just go around and level, but it's definitely like I'm already really interested in a lot of the characters in 14, so I just want to see where that story's going.
Yeah, we actually deep dived into PvP recently, and that's been an experience too.
Yes, it's true. PvP. So Summer Games Fest, right? You guys want to set the first topic?
Yeah, might as
Go
well.
for it.
I know Pat has the lineup up on his phone. If he just wants to bring up whatever the first big.
Well, the show started off with Street Fighter 6, which again showed off Guile, which also looks fucking really good.
I really like. Before we get into Guile, well, like we said, me and Eric said last week, very casual Street Fighter fans,
Right.
so don't know a whole lot about the franchise, but
The only one
The-
I've touched was 4.
same. The actual stage that Guile was on looked really cool. Like it looked like some type of like airship carrier.
Yeah.
So that looked pretty neat. But 6 was great. Every time I see it, it looks better and better.
Yeah, and they just announced, not at Summer's Game Fest, but the day after, we got news from the devs. It's going to be crossplay on all systems, which is
Never in
super
doubt.
neat.
Never in doubt. Especially coming to all next gen consoles now, and also coming to PS4. So I didn't see that article, but are they going to be doing PS4? Is PS4 also going to be crossplay with everything else?
They haven't specified, but I'm going to assume with hearing crossplay between all platforms right now, I'm going to assume
Okay.
yes, which
Alright.
is kind of a bit of a worry, but we'll see. It's
I also
rollback,
saw
so
it's going to have rollback, so
Yeah, so
that's important. Rollback.
it
is
might be
very
fine.
important. But yeah, Guile looks great, and it's got us 3 non-Street Fighter fans very excited for some reason. In what world are we living in?
And apparently Guile can throw gusts out of his hands.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah,
Don't
so that's
know
something
if
he's always
a
been
thing,
kind of able to do.
But now
Oh,
it's
okay.
like
It's like his Hadoken, basically.
it looks extra
Oh, I
though.
see.
Like I've never. What's the guy? Is Vega going to be in the game? That's the guy with the mask, right?
Yeah, we
With-
don't know yet.
With the claw.
I don't think I saw him in what's supposedly the leak pictures. I don't think I've seen him
That's true.
yet.
He looks cool.
Yeah, I'm sure we're gonna see a lot of dope characters, especially since we have a lot of potential for new characters. I'm excited to see over the next couple of weeks what we see. The Capcom presentations coming up here on, is that Monday? I think it's this upcoming Monday,
Capcom?
right?
Yeah, Monday. I
So
think.
we'll probably see a lot more characters from Street Fighter 6. I hope, maybe considering there was a playable demo the day after Summer Games Fest for Jeff.
People were playing. I think Maximilian was playing it.
Yeah,
And he has a video up on his channel that's worth checking out, talking about
I
a
wouldn't-
deep dive.
I wouldn't be shocked if maybe Capcom announces like another character or two, and they're like, "Here's a little tiny demo for like a couple days on PlayStation
Yeah,
or something."
I mean,
like
now
that.
that the main roster has been leaked, I wonder if they start announcing the DLC characters as like to get hype.
Possibly.
Because like, it's a shame. Because when it comes to fighting games, like I don't know if you guys ever noticed this, but when a fighting game's coming out, like their marketing is only aimed towards what characters are going to be in the game.
Right.
So now that their entire roster has been leaked, yikes. Like, I mean, It's obviously they don't really care because they're still Guile was their trailer here, so I don't think they are going to change their marketing strategy, but it kind of like zaps their thunder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Pat, what are we looking at next on the roster there?
So next was Aliens Dark Descent, which is like the isometric.
Is it a twin
like-
stick, or have they
It
confirmed
looked
whether
like
it's
a
a
twin-
twin
They
stick
haven't.
or is it an
I don't think
XCOM
they.
clone?
I don't think they've
Yeah.
said.
Because it could be either or at this point with the way they were showing it.
It looked very much more like a group of Marines versus aliens. So I'm gonna go for XCOM.
You can go for
I'm gonna
XCOM.
go for XCOM strategy. I mean, twin stick would be cool though.
Twin stick would be fun, I think, especially with like a 4-player co-op group.
Aliens been getting a lot of rep in gaming recently. Like
Yeah, not just
the Alien Fire Team is not a bad
Yeah, we have fun playing it.
third-person shooter.
It's a terrible experience on anything that's not a next gen console though.
Oh, I bet.
Because when I was playing it on my One X, I was getting like below 30 frames, and the moment I got to the Series X, it was like, okay, now this is the actual game. Like it was so bad, running on that older hardware. But yeah, it's interesting that it's Aliens too. Like we had Alien Isolation a while back, which was more of a survival horror kind of thing, and then now Aliens is here with all these action-oriented games. I don't know if you guys have seen Aliens.
I personally
have
have
not.
not.
That's a shame. Aliens is really good. We should definitely check that out sometime. But yeah, Aliens is just like the balls to the wall version of Aliens. So I'm down for more like action oriented Aliens games because xenomorphs are cool and shooting them is cooler. So
This also feels like one of those Game Pass games
Oh yeah.
that I could definitely see myself downloading.
so but if you'd buy it, would you buy it though?
Not if it was 60, no.
What about for $70?
Yeah, no.
No,
I'm good.
you're not the $70 gaming enjoyer.
It's got to really, really get me.
Okay, and I think this next game is something that's really going to be getting us.
Yeah, the Callisto Protocol by the by the creator of Dead Space, so which looks just like Dead Space.
Yeah.
and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, for
I don't think
sure.
that's a
I
bad
don't
thing.
think fans are complaining.
I think, with a lack of Dead Space, more things Dead Space is good for people.
Yeah, I mean, now since we've heard about Callisto Protocol originally, we've also gotten a Dead Space remake announced. But honestly, if I had to pick between the two right now, I'm kind of more excited for Callisto Protocol after what we saw, especially at Summer Game Fest. We got a little bit of gameplay. They showed an extended version of the original trailer where it had a lot more like gore and action scenes in it.
Yeah, and they showed off that new gun, the grip, where it like just
The gamer grip.
yeah, it's like almost like a gravity gun where it picks up the enemies and you can like throw them and push them and stuff.
Yeah, it looks like all over. It's just gonna be a really fun horror shooter game. I think it's gonna be a great time.
That's something I won't be playing by myself though. 'Cause
Fair.
That's just how it is. That's how it always will be. I don't know. The one thing that did look weird to me was the shooting, but I guess that's just how the shooting in those games are. I only played a little bit of Dead Space, so I don't know. But like there was this weird like rubber banding when the guy would shoot, like the camera would like zoom in and out on the.
I think it's supposed to be like a suspenseful thing when you're shooting. I think I don't know.
I don't know. It looks more like a more disorienting thing to me, but I mean,
The lighting in the game is like really spooky. Also, like it's like very dark, but like when you're walking through and the labs and the enemies come out, it's just like
Do you
really
think-
effective.
do you think they get into the lab to the key card that he bought off the market?
You said keycard?
Key cards. Metal Gear.
Man, anytime you have a key card in a video game, it's always a hassle because there's multiple. It's not just one. You need like different key cards for everything.
That's literally the thing for Metal Gear Solid. Like,
Yeah.
You have to get like different colored key cards. That was the worst.
Yeah. So next they showed off. I don't know how in depth we want to go here, but showed off Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
We can pass that.
Oh, the original?
No,
Oh.
it can only live to that level or
I,
dream of that level.
really brief topic on that, I guess.
Looks nice.
It looks pretty. I
Yeah,
like the
doesn't
fact
it?
they're doing another new engine. I'm excited to see what Warzone 2 is going to look like. Outside all that, they showed us like 20 minutes of a campaign mission that should have only been like 5. But it was still cool. Like it looked good. It looked good, but I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I mean, it looks great. I know a couple of us are talking about like that it's going to be on Game Pass if the deal with Activision and all that stuff gets done early. So that'd be interesting.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
yeah, it's Call of Duty's coming back. It looks good. I'm sure people are gonna enjoy it. Yeah. So Yeah, well, I don't think we should spend too much time on that though, because it's just a 20-minute campaign mission.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the show also had a lot of horror games. So the next one that they showed off was, well, I guess it's like a thriller more than a horror, but Fort Solis
Oh
with
yeah.
Troy Baker and Roger Clark.
Roger Clark from Red Dead 2, Arthur Morgan.
I wonder what kind of game that's gonna be because it doesn't really give an indication by the trailer. But
Well, with the way Troy and Roger were talking about it on stage with Jeff, they make it sound like they were talking about doing stunt work. So obviously it's gonna be heavy mocap, and it looks like it's gonna be heavy. I don't know. The big selling point is these two voice actors. I mean, so much of a selling point they had them announce the game.
I could see it being one of those like kind of like Heavy Rain type of games, or like
Oh, like a David Cage.
Detroit Become Human, or
yeah,
something like
kinda
that. Yeah.
kind of like a branching path thing. That'd be cool. I thought Detroit Become Human was awesome. I think that was we had a great time playing that, especially with the way we ended up. You remember how we
Yeah,
played that?
we played it on party like stream share.
Yeah, the
PlayStation.
PS stream share where Pat would like assume direct control over like the game from his from the stream, and like I would just be holding the controller, but he would be playing it from his controller, and it was just like I don't know how it looked like quality wise on your TV, but I mean like
Oh, it was like 720p. It was okay.
it was still a fun time though.
Yeah.
And then I think they also announced, well, they re-revealed Routine.
The game that's been in development for like ever.
Yeah, it definitely looks interesting. It's actually probably one of the prettier looking game. As weird as that is
Yeah.
to say, it's definitely one
Oh,
of the
yeah.
prettier looking games they showed off during Summer Game Fest.
Also, one thing to point out, a lot of these games were like space horror. Like,
there's like 4 or 5 of them. I think.
like
Yeah.
a lot of like I don't know what's the deal with space horror, but it's coming back. And also Routine. Yeah, so in development for at least a decade. Development hell, probably, realistically. But it's back. And I don't know if it's on... We were just talking. We don't know if that's Unreal 5 or if it's whatever engine they've been working on, because I went back and watched the original trailer. And it looks the same. But not, like, in a bad way, but, like, it already looked graphically impressive 8-10 years ago.
Right.
So I don't know if it's just using their own engine that they're working on, or if it's just been constantly using the newest Unreal Engine, because I've
It looked
heard...
like Unreal 5.
I've heard, I don't know anything about game development, but I've heard going from Unreal to Unreal is pretty seamless, so,
Right.
especially going to Unreal 5. So, cool. It looks great.
What's up next on this list?
Stormgate. I don't know
Storm.
too much about this. I think
Storm.
I missed it when I was watching.
The
Oh,
next,
Stormgate.
the next RTS.
Yeah, I was about to say
RTS is back.
it's an RTS made by, from what if I remember right, it's some mostly original devs from like StarCraft, because they are no longer really with Blizzard like that anymore. I think it's neat. I think to be a very niche and like maybe cult hit, but I just don't know what the demand is for an RTS at this point when MOBAs have kind of just taken over that whole format at this point.
And it was born from that format.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
I mean, we can kind of, this is an extreme example, but we can kind of look at, what was it? The Warcraft remaster, Reforged or whatever that came
Yeah.
out. I mean, to be fair, Blizzard just dropped the ball on that totally. So I don't know if that's an extreme case, but that was not received well or sold well, I think. So
I think the biggest issue with that, outside of some of the graphical changes that they made that people didn't like, was also once again the fact they were like, hey, anything you guys create in our create a game, we have rights to that. So that way we don't miss out on the next MOBA.
Yeah. It's because, was it Dota was spawned from
Yep,
Warcraft?
and that's what started the whole MOBA franchise right there, was the Dota games, which was originally the first one.
Yeah.
Is a Warcraft game
The
mode.
Warcraft game. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not very excited about the next future of the RTS genre.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. The next big game they showed was Midnight Suns, the game by the XCOM team.
Yeah, the Marvel one, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. I think that looks great. I'm very excited, and it's a game coming out this year, which most games are not. So
Yeah, it looked like it was like a deck building game kind of too, which pretty interesting because I like these deck building kind of games like Slay the
Yeah, Slay
Spire
the
and stuff
Spire.
like that.
yeah, it's like because alongside that trailer they posted like, I think it was Game Informer had like a 20-minute long gameplay video, and just like seeing how that like works. Like there's like cards that get like drawn for you, and they each have like a move that and it's like for each hero on your team. So you can have like a card for a Spider-Man move that he would do, but then you could also play a card for like a Wolverine move that Wolverine would do. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
and like apparently from people that have played the game saying it's very in depth and it's very very fun from the gameplay.
That's neat.
Yeah, so I'll definitely be checking that out. It reminds me a lot of Ultimate Alliance. Like in the like this is like the all-star Marvel team, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Spider-Man suit though was not really a huge fan of
Yeah,
that.
Eric said he liked it, but
I do like that Spider-Man suit. I do.
I don't know what you were looking at.
I think I just like any Spider-Man suit that isn't the generic red and blue. I think that's really what it comes to.
I'm a red and blue spider suit enjoyer, Pat.
Yes. Uh, so wait, so we're talking when we say, are we talking about the blackish suit?
I'm
that
talking
he
about
was-
both.
Oh, okay.
Midnight
I
Sun
I
suit,
thought both
yeah.
looked pretty bad.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I like the red and blue one a little more, but definitely not as much
It
as
has
that
these
first one.
weird eyes I've never seen on a Spider-Man suit before that are like bulbous, like they like come out and it's weird.
And Hulk has horns.
Yeah, Hulk does have horns. He's been possessed.
And then Venom, it looks like Scarlet Witch.
Is that like I don't know anything about like Midnight
this is
Suns. in
well no
terms
this
of,
is
the
like
comic.
I think Lilith might be new. Like
Okay.
Lilith is the
I
main
don't
villain.
know because I know Midnight Suns had a comic run a while back at some point,
Yoko
but
has
I
joined the
don't
chat.
know. I'm not sure if like Lilith was a confirmed character
Yeah.
in Midnight Suns.
I know
though.
the main character, the hunter, the player character is new,
Mhm.
and they're fully voiced apparently. So that's gonna be interesting. Oh, Eric is trying to get Yoko off the table.
I'm kind of working. And yoink.
There she goes. Bye.
She'll be back.
Yeah, she will. This next one is really just for Pat.
Yes, Cuphead DLC. Finally.
What are your thoughts on that? Since I played. I think both of you might have been here when I played when Zach had me play Cuphead.
One of the expert levels.
Yeah, and I
Immediately played on expert.
yeah, and I could not get the job done. And
You
that
got
was-
pretty close
yeah.
after like an hour of
yeah,
playing.
after an hour. Yeah, so
It'd just be like that.
yeah. So what are your thoughts on that? Since you played it.
I really, cause like everything's hand drawn, so the art looks just as good as the original game. They're fighting like this like Yeti monster who then turns into a giant like snowflake, and they're showing off like Miss Chalice.
Imagine explaining this to someone that has no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, but it's good though. And they just announced the other day that it's $8, so that's a steal for Cuphead DLC, which is it probably has about I don't know like 7 or maybe like 3 hours of content.
I was about to say, I think it has about the same amount, almost the same amount of levels as the base game did, from what I understand. So
Yeah, so I'm definitely
Pat,
excited.
pick any boss in the base game and explain it to me like in layman's terms. Like you did with that Yeti one.
Well, you fight a man named King Dice who has a dice for a head, and his boss level, you have to fight. You go down a roulette board, and you beat boss. It's like a mini boss run, and you have to. Every time you beat a boss, you progress forward. But if you land on like a bad spot, you'll get pushed back, and then at the end of the boss run, you have to fight King Dice himself. So yeah, it's a.
Yeah, like I said. So imagine explaining that to someone. Their first.
And then you fight the devil.
So yeah, Pong has just come out. You go back in time. You step out of your time machine, and you have to explain Cuphead to this one dude, and you're just like, anyway. So you fight this guy. It's a giant corn stalk, or what? No, he's a giant flower, and he has this weird dance.
You do fight a carrot and
Yeah.
a potato.
Yeah.
And an onion.
This.
and you don't have to kill the potato, if I remember
Yeah, I
right.
think you
right?
could
Why would you
skip
kill-
the potato.
You
Yeah.
you fry the potato, and then you boil them, mash them, stick them in the stew.
Anyways, real quick, for anyone who doesn't know what Cuphead is, for some reason, it's a one of those like side-scrolling shooter games where if you get hit, you basically die.
Yeah.
It's really hard, but really
And
fun.
it's based on like the old
And
like
that's coming out
1920s
this month, right?
animation. Yep, end of the month, June 30th.
A big game upon our friend group. Zach really likes it. Pat's really big into it. Pretty
So-
art style.
Cuphead is like $20. Buy it. It's worth it.
And I think next was a couple anime games.
Yeah, a
right?
couple anime games by the Genshin Impact people.
Yeah, the Hoyoverse group. Yeah, they did.
The
Honkai Star Rail was the first
Yeah,
one.
Yep.
yeah. That looks
It's like a
cool.
sci-fi adventure game.
It's a sci-fi like open world RPG style game.
Is that but is it mobile? Do we know
Yeah,
if it's
I
mobile?
think if I remember right, so far it's been announced for mobile and PC. I'm sure we'll see another console release at some point after how well Genshin's done on PlayStation.
This article here says the game features a turn-based fighting system
Hmm.
that has you assemble a team of unique fighters, each with their own different combat abilities.
So it sounds like a gotcha game almost already.
Yeah, but turn-based sounds interesting.
I have an awful,
Sounds like E7.
I have an awful experience with gacha games that I will not talk about right now.
That's
For
for a
now.
different day.
For now.
That's for a different day.
What about the next one was that the ZZZ?
Zenless Zone Zero.
That one looks pretty cool too. Actually, that one looks more like an action game by the same company. Looks like
Yeah,
Genshin's action,
yeah.
but way more fast paced.
Yeah, it looks pretty sick.
Has like a dog character.
Yep.
Humanoid dog. He looks kind of like that Beastars anime.
Oh, yeah, the main character, Beastars.
Yeah.
That the character that stuck out to me the most, even though we didn't see him from the front, was the big old bear with like
Yeah,
the pole he was
yeah,
beating people with.
Like Panda from Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm definitely interested to see how both those games from Hoyoverse come out. Mainly because I'm a very casual Genshin enjoyer myself. I'd like to see how these other two come out.
Yeah, they look cool. And then I think they also had TMNT Shredder's Revenge.
Oh my gosh, we've been watching that game since they announced it.
Yeah,
And they revealed Casey Jones as the
and
final
six-player
character.
co-op.
Yeah,
Six-player
six-player.
co-op.
So we'll definitely be checking that out. It's like a love letter to the old TMNT games with the pixel art and the beat 'em up.
I think it's
So-
being worked on by the Scott Pilgrim team. Like part of the Scott Pilgrim team for their beat 'em up game. I think the other part is the people who do like the River City games. So it's gonna be pretty interesting.
Looks good. It's another good one.
Next was again another game only for me. Was the One Piece Odyssey game, which is gonna be
Boo.
yeah, trying to get my friends to get into One Piece, but no one listens.
I've started a little bit. I got to like a little bit after chapter 100 in the manga. I did that all within a single day and burnt myself out immediately. But what I've read so far was pretty good. It's definitely better than the anime adaptation that I was watching up to that point. So
I had two experiences trying to get into One Piece. Pat was like, just watch the anime up to the Arlong Park arc, and he was like, if you don't like it, it's not for you. Got to the end, I didn't like it, thought it wasn't for me, and then he was like, yeah, but read it in manga form and then tell me if it's different. So I get the manga and I'm reading it. Got up to the Arlong Park arc, still did not like it. Still know it's not for me. Watched one of the movies in theaters with him. Didn't really understand what was going on. I liked how the snails could talk though, but that's as far as it goes.
Yeah, it's a JRPG and it looks a lot like Dragon Quest, like the newest Dragon Quest, which I think could work for a One Piece game, but we'll see how it goes. Because the One Piece does not have a good track record for their games usually, except maybe the Pirate Warriors games and a couple select ones for like Grand Battle from like back in the day.
And there's like no actual gameplay of that game out yet, right?
There's a little bit, but not a whole
Like
lot.
tiny
but I
bit,
mean
but no
like as in
combat
like combat
gameplay.
gameplay. Like we
Well, I know-
know it's like turn based, right?
yeah.
Well, One Piece is having like a big like One Piece celebration on their 25th anniversary in the next couple weeks, so we'll probably see it then.
All these anniversaries.
We're gonna be talking about another 25th anniversary here in a little bit.
Yeah,
But let's keep going for
the
now.
25th anniversary.
And then next was just a little quick reveal of the Saints Row character creator.
Cool.
It's out now.
Yeah, you can download it now. And
They've always had fun character creators. I always like that in Saints Row.
Yeah, nothing too crazy to
Yeah.
talk about there. Just a typical Saints Row character creator.
Mm-hmm.
Next was Nightingale, which is like it looks kind of like the game The Forest. It's like a survival, like witchcraft
Yeah,
kind
but
of
you're
game.
hopping into portals or something, right?
Yeah, Victorian fantasy.
it looked interesting when they first announced
Yeah.
it. Wasn't really catching my eye that time. Watched the gameplay this time, and I don't quite get the concept of the cards. I think they're supposed to be to generate the world around you.
That's
think.
what it looks like, yeah.
And with that kind of brought me a little bit more. I'm like, I like being semi in control of the world around me in these kind of games. So I think this might be an interesting look at. I think they said early access drops soon-ish. I think, if I remember right. can't remember.
Probably.
Yeah.
It,
I mean, with games like that going into early access, you never really know what kind of
true.
stage of game you're getting into. So
Next was the next Layers of Fear by Blooper Team.
Layers of Fears.
Yes, Layers of Fears. Sorry.
There's an
Come
S
on.
at the end of that.
come on, there's already 2 layers of fears. Come
Again, not a big horror guy, but the game looked nuts. It's on under 5.
Yeah, it's looking like it's running real nice. It looks kind of spook. Definitely was the out of all the spooky games there, I think it was definitely the least looking spooky game, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm just too much of a baby to play those games.
Do we still think Bloober Team is working on a Silent Hill game?
Yes.
That's been going around rumored for a while. It really depends on what Konami's planning on doing with the franchise. If
Letting it die like everything else in their collection.
I was about to say, if Konami actually somewhat decides they want, because they said they want to show off stuff at game presentations here soon, but that was supposed to happen this year, and they pushed that off.
Maybe
so.
they're planning on bringing their pachinko machines to E3.
Oh no, gross. But no, I think if we see something from Konami soon, from whatever that was of them being like, we want to show you guys game stuff, we don't have stuff ready yet. I think if we get a hint of anything of that, I think it's more real. We're gonna see the Silent Hill 2 remake.
We're moving right along. Okay, I think anyone else got any final things to say about Layers of Fears? I don't really have much to add on that.
Yeah.
Besides, I hope hope it's gonna be good. The next game though, it's kind of a hit or miss one in our group of friends. Gotham Knights.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
I know Pat and I are probably gonna be getting that off of on Xbox, so we can do the good old game share that Phil Spencer allows us to do.
Yep. Phil's a god.
Yep, $30. That's an easy split. I don't know. This was a Nightwing gameplay trailer. Very similar to what they showed recently with the other gameplay with Red Hood and Nightwing. I think it looks good. I know a lot of people are talking the combat doesn't look as good as Arkham, but I mean, this looks like a fun time to co-op.
Yeah, Red Hood looks pretty cool when they showed him at the first or the last gameplay trailer.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing. I'm even interested in seeing what like Batgirl and Robin have going on. Like,
Yeah, we didn't really see much from them.
yeah,
Have they confirmed which Robin? Because there's two Robins left at that point.
I think it's Tim Drake.
Is it Tim Drake?
Yeah. Let's do what?
Let's say,
One
because
second.
there's gonna be a difference. Because I might play that with you guys if it's Tim Drake. If it's Damian, count me out. I actually really like Tim Drake as a Robin, and then he also in some of the more recent runs of Teen Titans and stuff, he ends up being Red Robin and leads the Teen Titans, which I really enjoyed him as Red Robin. So if it's Tim Drake, I'm in.
It's Tim Drake.
Okay, I might be in then. You guys might have a third player.
Sick. Yeah, I feel like that's one of those games like you'll definitely enjoy more if you play co-op.
Yeah, I think it's gonna look cool. There's like even like takedowns, like combined takedowns. That's gonna be pretty neat. So.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
That's like near the end of the show, right?
Yeah, that was like the second to last thing they showed in the big stinger, which wasn't really a stinger at the time they showed it because it got leaked like hours before. But Last of Us Part 1 remake.
Yeah, Last of Us Part 1 remake it was Jeff's big stinger for the end of the show, and PlayStation themselves leaked it that morning before the show.
Yeah, they were even joking about that on stage. So.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, Last of Us Part 1 remake. Well, I guess Last of Us Part 1 is what's making it different from the other Last of Us, like the first one.
Don't really see the point in the game, but people will buy it.
Yeah, I mean, people are gonna buy it. It's a cash grab from Sony. But at the end of the day, it looks. You gotta give it to them. It looks phenomenal. Like when you see those, like they were doing, like like the comparison when you slide it back and slide back and forth.
Yeah.
And it's so different. Like it looks like a PS5 game. So I'm interested in seeing what these gameplay mechanics are bringing over, and stuff like that. But I don't think it's a product worth $70. So.
What might be worth $70 though is they also announced the factions, the multiplayer game for Last of Us is getting a standalone game, which a lot of people like the original factions for the first Last of Us.
Yeah.
So I wonder how that's gonna play.
Yeah.
Hot take on that one. I'm gonna make one of Cameron's bold predictions right now. It's gonna be a live service game.
Oh,
I'm thinking I'm seeing a game when like the way they were talking about like it's gonna be big. He keeps saying something Naughty Dog's never done before, and they're making it like its own thing. I'm like you said, live service, Destiny kind of thing.
Games as a service, yeah.
There's gonna be like a home hub where you get to see you and your boys, And my only question is, are they gonna like take it a step further? I had tossed when we were on the Discord watching it. I was talking about maybe they kind of turn this into like a Tarkov kind of game where you go in with gear, and then in certain type of game modes or matches you lose gear. That'd be interesting. So I'm interested in seeing that.
I could see that. Yeah.
That was it for the show.
Yeah. So that was really it. And now let's put this in perspective. Oh well, Neil says Neil Druckmann says they're working on something else,
Oh yeah.
but it's just way too early to talk about it.
Yeah.
So we know they're working on something.
Last
something
of
else
Us
Naughty
Part
Dog.
2 remake.
Nah.
They're gonna remake it to where Joel lives.
Last of Us Part 3, because the ending of Part 2 where certain characters survived, that's they did that so they could make a Part 3.
Yeah,
That's what's gonna happen
yeah,
here.
right.
We're getting a Part 3.
I mean, honestly though, I know Pat and I have talked about before. Their next project, I would love to be something like fantasy based.
That'd be cool.
But at the same time, I feel like the world they set up with Last of Us, you can make all new characters, and I think tell still a great story. So
yeah.
I mean, I guess we'll see. But also, let's talk about how that show was 2 hours long, and we just condensed it in like 40 minutes.
And we even skipped over some stuff that just wasn't really all
I think
that
we
big.
skipped when you had the list. We skipped like
3 or 4 games that they showed like,
Yeah.
off in the middle. A couple like indie games.
we skipped the Rock
Oh,
plug.
Yeah. The Rock's.
The Rock Plug went
massive
on for like
plug.
5 minutes, yeah.
When he's
Um,
just shirtless in the gym,
Talking about his energy drink.
and Black Adam.
And the fact that he's the biggest gaming icon in the industry because he was a character in Fortnite. Cool, I guess.
It's just such a meme.
And he's like the trailer for Black Adam had a 98% approval rating, which I feel like that's not true.
Who knows?
It definitely wasn't well received with our group of friends. It was like
Maybe we're the 2%.
yeah. I saw it and I was like, this looks like a very mid movie that has The Rock playing The Rock. And don't get me wrong, I love The Rock. I think he's pretty good, but I'm just getting tired of seeing him always play The Rock. Like,
Yeah.
even in Black Adam, it looks like he's just playing himself, but like more serious and dark and edgy.
Well, on that topic, you ever gonna get tired of seeing Ryan Reynolds play Ryan Reynolds?
Oh, like with Deadpool.
Well, if anything he's in, he's always Ryan Reynolds in anything he plays. He's just himself.
I mean, yeah. I mean, but I really only care about Deadpool when it comes to him. So, like, I haven't seen
fair.
Free Guy or anything like that. So.
If I had to make a suggestion on one movie of his to watch that was really funny, Hitman's Bodyguard.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Oh, please watch it. Him and Samuel Jackson are so funny together.
You telling me you guys don't like Green Lantern?
Are you telling me you do?
I never said that.
I see.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of Green Lantern.
Glad we can all shake on that one.
Yeah. Jim Bob was giving us like a weird like a shrug. I don't think he's gonna be around for the next episode.
Got to probe him on that one later.
So yeah, that was Summer's Game Fest. Jeff, it was okay. It was an okay show.
Yeah, it was honestly, it was the best Summer Games Fest he's ever done. But that's not really saying
Yeah, it's
much
not
when all
saying
his have been really weak over the past few years he's been doing it.
Yeah.
I think Jeff is still too strong on keeping his celebrities in the show.
Yeah.
The whole Rock thing was not necessary. We didn't need it. No one wanted to see that there.
Right.
Honestly, I thought he brought on The Rock to talk more about the future of Fortnite, because considering his character is a big character in the Fortnite lore. I was kind of excited to see where they're going with that. Even though I don't play the game, it's interesting to see what they do with it. But
I feel you on that. I'm not really big into Fortnite, but it is always interesting seeing like holy crap! Like this game, remember like we all bought Save the World when it came out.
yeah,
Because
oh my
cause
gosh.
remember Fortnite was the game that killed Paragon essentially, even though Paragon also kind of killed itself.
It was a little bit of both.
But Save the World we all got into and we're like, this is okay. But then when they dropped the BR mode, it was like, whoa.
Yeah, it was.
And then
crazy.
now we've seen it turn into this thing with like lore and like every time a new season drops, I think it's pretty interesting seeing how they change the map and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And now they have new build. Who knows? I might pick it up. Who knows?
Yeah, I was about to say I was seeing.
Darth Vader's in the game.
Yeah, it's
Darth
crazy to
Vader
see all
versus
this stuff.
Master Chief.
And Naruto.
Wearing
and
Among Us
Naruto.
backpacks.
What is happening? What is the gaming? This is like everyone's talking about the metaverse. Here it is. It's Fortnite. Like what is going on?
Yeah, no, I think I think if they had brought on The Rock for the show, for him to actually talk about his role as the Foundation, talk a little bit more about that, and like what's coming up next, since they're about to end season 3 of Fortnite or chapter 3, technically, whatever it
something
is.
like that.
They're about to end it and go into part 4. I'm sure there's gonna be a big story drop here. I was really hoping The Rock was gonna kind of talk about that a little bit, and he only very briefly mentioned he was even the Foundation. That was about it, and everything else was Zoa Energy, Black Adam, him working out in his Iron Paradise, shirtless, and that was pretty much just him tooting his own horn over there. Honestly, it's one of those things that definitely the Summer Games Fest could have gone without. It wasn't a video game. We didn't need to see the Black Adam trailer. It wasn't a video game.
It also wasn't even the full Black Adam trailer.
Yeah, it was a very shortened version of it. I think just in general, I think the fact we only had one superstar show up this time around was definitely promising. I think Jeff's learning that we don't want to see a ton of them.
No band played either. Usually there's a band that plays during his shows.
Yeah, he did not have a band this year. You're right. I was expecting Imagine Dragons to come back and bore me to tears again.
Oh, man. On that one, we're going to switch to the news flash segment.
The news flash segment, yes. Okay, so we got a couple different topics that we're going to hit on today. I'll go ahead and kick it off with, we have the Netflix Geeked presentation happened as of yesterday on Friday. They showed off a couple different cartoon animations they're doing here soon, and some of the big ones that were announced were actually some big video game adaptations that we've been waiting on. There's a Dragon Age Absolution. There's a season 2 for Cuphead show, which apparently did really well with the first season, to the point where they pushed for the second season so soon afterwards. And the biggest one, in my opinion, being Castlevania Nocturne, which is the continuation of the Castlevania series, which already had 4 seasons, but this time following Richter Belmont, who is the Rondo of Blood main character. You may also know him from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Most famously made in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
But if this one does well, the next series that we would get after Nocturne would be relating to one of the biggest Castlevania games of all time, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, where you play as Alucard on the PS1. That game was amazing. It still to this day holds up, and I would love to see that in this animated form, especially because the team that does the Castlevania animations is top tier, superb.
Yeah, they do good. Castlevania, I have no real opinions on that. I haven't really played them, but I watched a little bit of the first season. Looks dope. Dragon Age, sure, why not? Cuphead, never watched it, never played the game. Pat?
I haven't seen the Netflix show, but I hear it's okay it's like a old school cartoon, kind of like something you'd see on like Cartoon Network or something.
Hold on. Now let's go back.
Mm-hmm.
So you've gone back in time. And there's this dude with Pong. Okay.
Oh, again, huh?
You've explained a boss battle to him, and now you also tell him there will be an app on your TV that you can watch a TV show based off this game.
Yes, about a man named Cuphead with a cup for a head, and a man named Mugman with a mug for a head.
And this is where gaming will be.
The pinnacle.
The pinnacle. All right, continue, Eric, with the newsflash.
Okay, next up we have, as of right now, it looks like E3 is supposed to be coming back next year for 2023, in person and digital.
Press X to doubt.
Yeah, I was about to say, after they said that was going to happen this year and was canceled very briefly into 2022, I don't know we actually see it next year. I think it's all talk right now. But part of me hopes it's there next year, because E3 is always a fun watch through with everybody. But I'm 50-50 on whether it comes back next year for sure or not.
I mean, for E3, we only ever got together to watch the big publisher/developer showcases. Xbox and Bethesda have their own. Sony does State of Plays now. Nintendo does Directs. Square, Ubisoft, Bandai, they all do direct presentations.
It's just the way to go.
Yeah, what is really left for E3 to be besides... You can go to E3. I mean, I know when E3 is around, Xbox does do like a partnership with them. But it's like... There's nothing really... I don't really think there's a need for E3 anymore.
Yeah, especially now that Jeff has announced that Summer Game Fest is going to have in-person events starting next year as well now.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to go meet Jeff.
Jeff is a gamer. He's always dripping. Pat, comment on E3?
I mean, yeah, like you said, I don't really feel a difference in E3 not being around right now. because everyone's just having their own conference. Is what it felt like when E3 was around anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not like, I mean, E3, I think not being there definitely changes when you're actually the person going to E3 and like these
Like a journalist.
journalists
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But I feel like right now we don't really need it.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the only difference for me personally is it just doesn't feel like E3 season. Even though it's technically E3 season
Right.
right now, it
Yeah,
doesn't
well, yeah.
feel like it because it's not actually E3. Not everything's condensed to a single week. Everything's
Yeah,
over the
well,
course of a month
I
right
mean,
now.
I think with E3 too was that they would do like you could throw on like everyone had like their own E3 stream
Oh yeah.
where like the main show floor had like a bunch of different developers coming on to show off their games, and even stuff that wasn't being shown at like big publishers. So I mean, I don't know, maybe they can work something out, but I wouldn't count on that being around next year.
Okay. And with that, our next news flash topic. Big rumors going around right now of Kojima's next game being a horror game titled Overdose.
Yeah.
We don't know much about it other than that, but it's still exciting to think about. Especially, Cam, you want to share your theory on that?
Yeah. So Overdose, which I'm pretty sure is no longer just a leak because they asked the dude that leaked the game to remove his article about it.
Mm-hmm.
So they pretty much confirmed that the game does exist. So let's think about something else that got dropped from Kojima. Norman Reedus said that he was working on something with Kojima again. And everyone took, I mean, in context, it's easy to think that he might have said, yeah, we're working on the next one, referring to Death Stranding 2. But tinfoil hat theory, Norman Reedus was talking about this Overdose game, and him and Kojima are going to partner again. And I think they're also bringing their third pal, Del Toro, back, and they're going to try to recreate the magic they had with PT, just without the Silent Hills IP.
I can see that.
So that's my big theory on this next Kojima game. But yeah, I'm down. I thought some of the segments of Death Stranding were pretty spooky. I think I never got a chance to play PT, but from what I hear, it's pretty scary. So I think it's going to be really, really, really fun.
I still have it on a hard drive for a PS4, so if you ever wanted to check it out, we can hook it up at some point and give it a try.
Yeah, I'd be interested in doing that because I never got a chance to play it.
I think it would also be interesting if Junji Ito was involved in this game.
Yeah.
You know, the famous horror manga writer.
What are they called?
Mangaka.
Mangaka, yeah.
And his art is like
Me?
Japanese horror
Gangaga.
is like Japanese horror is like very like surreal to like it's like when you're reading any of his manga, it's like the art is like so disturbing. So it'd be interesting to see in a video game how that could play out if he is involved.
Yeah, I mean that's actually I never thought about that. That'd be a really good collaboration, actually.
Both those minds together would
Yeah,
be insane.
yeah, because well, not only with Junji Ito's like ability to create insanely like horrific images, like, but in his mind, but also Kojima's love of like Western culture and Western horror, and even Japanese culture and horror. I think it would be, now that you said it, it's like, oh my, like how is this not being done? You know what I mean? Like that's such a good collab, actually. So yeah, Overdose. Looking forward to it. Glad that there's no way he's working on both this and Death Stranding 2. By the way,
I mean,
like
who knows how much team he actually has, to be honest. But
I mean,
I mean, the studio's been around for a little bit now.
Yeah,
so
I guess, but
he did say
also Overdose could be this. We could see We'll get into it because that's the next topic in a little bit. Overdose could be the game that we might see that tomorrow at the Xbox conference. This could be that cloud game that we've heard him kind of make that pledge for Xbox. So
cloud horror game. I don't know how that would work, but
well,
cool.
I feel like they're using this cloud streaming thing very loosely. I think it's going to be ultimately a real game that anyone can play, but it's going to be built to utilize like cloud processing power.
Probably.
I don't know if you remember when Crackdown 3 came out, they were talking about how the destruction was going to be powered by cloud processing power, and that's why they were able to make it look so crazy.
Oh, right.
Well, joke's on us, Crackdown 3 sucked.
Yeah.
So, I think Kojima might be able to make this work.
Crackdown 3 would have been a good game if it came out like 10 years ago.
Well, hold on. Crackdown 3 came out a while ago, so maybe like 10 years before it came out. Because it's already been a while since it came out. But yeah.
Okay, yeah, so I think, Overdose is definitely going to be interesting. I hope we see it tomorrow. If we don't, I don't think we hear about it again till the Game Awards.
Yeah, I agree.
With that, though, our last news flash topic for the day. We just got an announcement a couple days ago. We're getting a Final Fantasy VII 25th anniversary presentation with 10 minutes of footage featuring what we assume to be Final Fantasy VII related things, whether that be Crisis Core Remake Part 2, something
Ever
else.
Crisis. Unfortunately, probably First Soldier is going to be there.
Yeah, there's a lot of rumors going around. I saw on Twitter that the I want to say like the creative brand manager for Square Enix said, I don't remember if that's what his title was, but someone in Square Enix straight up retweeted it and said, "Do not miss this. Please co-stream this. It's going to be exciting." Something along those lines.
Yeah.
I don't have it exactly in front of me, but it was something along those lines. And when somebody within the company is saying stuff like that, either they're just trying to really build up hype on a presentation, it's just gonna flop. But normally, when someone is vouching for something that hard, there's gonna be something interesting here. I think we might see something outside of even Remake 2 that's that big. Maybe it's something else Final Fantasy VII related that is going to be absolutely insane.
Do we see the remake announcement for Xbox finally here? Maybe.
I think that could definitely be a
The
case
the
we're
Xbox
making.
port.
I think we
That
could
could
see
be.
Xbox.
That could be. I mean, that could be like a really quick, like 30-second, like boom, here it is.
It's coming, yeah.
Yeah, the
Intergrade will be available with it.
Yeah. So let's just do a quick breakdown. What are you thinking that we're gonna see? Let's start with Pat.
At the Xbox conference?
No, the Final Fantasy one. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think if there's any time to get a trailer and a release date for the 7 Remake Part 2, it would be this presentation.
And you
For
think
sure.
that release date is?
I like to meme and say it's coming out this year since 16's coming out next year, but realistically, I think it's not. We're not getting that until like late next year, early 2024.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. I think it's a realistic expectation. If I had to put my hat in the ring here, I definitely think we see a release date for Ever Crisis tomorrow. I think that's my most
that's what I was gonna
realistic
say.
thought. And we get to see a little bit more of a breakdown of what it actually is.
So you guys have pretty grounded guesses, almost guaranteed guesses.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get wild. Now hold on to your butts.
already doing so.
Okay. So we have Ever Crisis coming out. There's another game called Crisis Core. I think we're gonna finally see that being ported over. I mean, I know they already plan on adapting Crisis Core in Ever Crisis, but I mean, why not just go ahead and be like, oh, and by the way, we're porting this game that's been stuck on the PSP since we've made it. I think that'd be pretty neat.
You're wrong. Dirge of Cerberus remake out of left field. It's gonna still suck.
Well, they've already started the Dirge of Cerberus remake. Half those characters get mentions in Intergrade.
Yeah,
Intermission.
true.
So, they're not shying away from the Dirge lore. I know some people are upset about that, but I thought it was pretty cool. But yeah, Crisis Core would be. Oh man, Crisis Core is good. So I really hope we get. I want that to be ported so bad. So I really hope we get that.
Yeah, even though I know they're not going to bring it up, it's also another big Final Fantasy property 25th anniversary. I need it to happen. I need them to. I know it's not going to be brought up here, but Square Enix have a presentation this month, or even Nintendo. I don't know who would have it. It's also Final Fantasy Tactics 25th anniversary, and I want it so bad. Please,
Eric is down so bad.
give
Down
me a
bad,
remake.
atrociously down.
But that's the thing. Like this, like normally I just joke about it. I'm like, I know it's not going to happen. Whatever. But this is the year it could happen. It's the 25th anniversary of Tactics. It was on the NVIDIA leak, which everything else that has come from the NVIDIA leak so far has been confirmed to be real, and or has been like shown by now. And number 3, they actually acknowledged Tactics for the first time in like years. They're making play arts figures for the main characters of Tactics this year. So I'm like, I really hope that's not the only thing they're doing for the 25th anniversary this year. I hope we get something else, even if it's just a port. That's all I'm really asking for at this point. Because if you're not getting a port, the only way to play the game currently is the last time they released it was outside the mobile phone version was for the PSP. I need something new, even if it's just the original game. Just port it up.
You're not gonna get it. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna believe in the NVIDIA leak at this point. It so far has steered everybody else right.
Maybe if you're lucky, it'll be at the Xbox Bethesda presentation.
That'd be wild if it was. Honestly, I don't think it will. If anything, I think if not a Square Enix presentation, I think we're seeing it at a Nintendo Direct.
Bethesda presents
Oh no.
Square Enix's Final Fantasy Tactics.
I would cry.
remake.
I'd probably like
Todd Howard, game director. It just works.
I'd probably vomit on the spot,
Phil
honestly.
Spencer, executive producer.
Ugh, God, that's a bad taste of my mouth. I'm gonna need to drink some more of this Mountain Dew hard.
I've already finished my Mountain Dew Hard. It's pretty good.
Okay, well,
Let's run it back to how good the Mountain Dew Hard is. I'm glad Pat brought this all the way from Florida, like a package
Shipped straight from Florida by me.
brought to you by
Brought to you
yeah.
by me.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm pretty sure the Final Fantasy thing is next Thursday. So we'll probably
That
have
sounds
it.
about
We'll
right.
probably have an episode up on Saturday, like always, talking about that. I'm probably gonna record on Friday because of some other things going on locally. So yeah, Final Fantasy. Looking forward to that. So we already got into some light prediction talk here. So we're gonna go into the next quote unquote main topic is the Xbox Bethesda show for tomorrow, and we're just probably just gonna maybe go around the table and just ask what our hopes / predictions are, and just kind of go from there. I'm also gonna pull up a little diagram here of what every studio is working on. So if anyone has any questions about those kind of games or whatever, just let me know, and we'll start off with Eric.
Oh man, I was not expecting to be the first one here. It probably helps that I'm not a huge Xbox guy either. Like I own the Xbox Series X just to say I have it, big flex. But I don't use it a lot. I use my PS5 more, and that's just because it's a Final Fantasy 14 machine at this point. But yeah, now Xbox presentation tomorrow. What I would like to see, definitely would love to see some more of that Fable game. I really like the original Fable, and Fable 2 was fun. Fable 3, I played through it. Wasn't exactly fun, but I played it.
I don't remember much of Fable 3, but Fable 2 was dope.
Fable 3 was... Sadly, Fable 3 was a huge drop-off from the other two games. It became a linear game. There wasn't a lot of choices you made to like really influence how things in the world went. It was more of like a top-down action than an actual like third-person action
Right.
game. There's a lot of change with Fable 3. It was still an all-over fun game, but I wouldn't call it a good Fable game. In the same route that like... There's one I always use, and I can't remember what it is now. Oh, yeah, like, Resident Evil 5 was a good game, but I wouldn't call it a good Resident Evil game. There's a lot to look forward to in Fable 3, but it just wasn't a lot of fun as a Fable game. But yeah, Fable, they announced that we don't know if it's a remake or just a reboot. We don't really know what it is yet. They've just kind of shown off a title teaser, and that was like almost 2 years ago, maybe 3 now, that they did that. But definitely would love to see some more Fable. I really hope they bring it back to form with like Fable 1 and 2 style gameplay, but of course more modernized. Outside of Fable, trying to think, I'm not really big into a lot of Xbox presentations. Oh yeah, no, never mind. There's one thing I'd like to see. There's been a lot of rumors going around about this. I'm sure it's just all speculation and just hype talk, honestly, but God, I really hope the Banjo-Kazooie rumors are true and we're getting either a new Banjo-Kazooie game or even just a remake of Banjo 1 and 2. I'd be fine with either of those.
We will not be seeing Banjo. That's my prediction.
Yeah, well, your predictions are dumb.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, they're dumb, but they're bold and they're brash.
More like belongs in the trash.
I set you up for that. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, outside of those two, once again, I'm probably the weakest person to ask about Xbox, and especially since Bethesda hasn't really done me well the past couple years. I got a decent amount of enjoyment out of Skyrim, a decent amount of enjoyment out of Fallout 4, but I literally played each of those games for like a week and have never touched them since. Every time I've tried to re-download and boot them back up, I just can't do it. I play them for like an hour and I'm like, man, this just, it's not for me anymore. I think I burn myself out on those open world, expansive RPG games like that all the time. Bethesda really doesn't have any other IPs I'm interested in. I mean, Doom's cool, but not really for me either. And then Xbox wise, I like Sea of Thieves. That was fun for a while. They own a lot of new studios, but man, yeah, I'm starting to realize as we're sitting here, a lot of the studios that Xbox got a hold of over the past couple of years haven't really made a lot of games I personally like. So there's not much I'm sitting here for. Like maybe oh, okay, there is one other rumor I heard that would be interesting. I guess that would be Xbox related. The talk of a new Killer Instinct game. I'd be down for
Yeah,
that.
that one's always going around for sure.
Yeah, right now the rumor is that Xbox is having whatever studio does Killer Instinct. I forget who normally does it. Whoever did it last. I don't think it was Rare. Maybe it was Rare. I don't remember.
Yeah, this thing here says they have an unknown developer, possibly
Bandai Namco.
Bandai Namco developing Killer Instinct.
Which, I mean, my theory on that, if it's true it's Bandai Namco, it's because they have Harada, the director of Tekken, working on it currently, and that's why we haven't heard anything about Tekken Tag 3 or
That would
Tekken
be
8
nuts.
yet. And that would make Killer Instinct, whatever the next Killer Instinct game is, really, really good, because Harada knows what he's doing when it comes to fighting games. So I'm in for that if that's the case. But yeah, I think outside of that, sorry, I don't have much more to talk about on this topic. I'm not the Xbox Bethesda guy. You guys go ahead and run this. I'm gonna go take a little bathroom break while you guys start talking about this.
Hey,
next.
yo.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
So James has let us know. Well, sorry, Jim Bob has let us know that we have passed the hour mark. Probably gonna have a little bit of a longer episode this time around. We're gonna be feeling out a little bit of a longer format. But anyway, so on your way back, can you bring me a glass of water?
I sure can. I guess we're just gonna cut a lot of this part out, probably.
Nope. Leave it in. Leave it in.
Doing it live.
Leave it in. All right. So while Eric is gone, Pat, let's just kind of get more into this Xbox thing here, since you and I, like Eric had mentioned, are more in line to that. So I'm just gonna read you this Xbox projects, 30 plus studios, 50 plus projects in the works.
Where are they at?
Exactly.
Because I feel like it's now or never with Xbox. We keep hearing about all these studios they're buying, all these new games in development, but they haven't released like one first-party game this year, and their games are taking forever to come out. So I think it's like now's the time for this conference to. I think it has the potential to be a really good one, because I really want to see a lot of gameplay,
they mandated if you're going to be at the conference, you have to have a gameplay to show.
Yeah, like there's just so much coming out from them that we got to get something within the next like 6 months to a year.
So I'm just going to go over the list here. So for Xbox Game Studios alone, I'm looking at a metric ton of projects. So let's start off with 343. I don't think they're going to be at the main show. If they are, it's going to be for the Infinite campaign continuation, because they know Infinite's going to be a 10-year plan.
There's also the co-op thing coming out soon.
Remember, Xbox is also going to have a conference on Tuesday,
Yeah.
where they're going to go show you more trailers and go more into depth with certain games. So I think we see Halo there. I think we're going to see maybe a campaign trailer. Coalition, maybe Gears.
I don't know. I don't think we'll see Gears 6 at this conference. I'd like for them to show it, but I feel like it's still too far out, because Unreal 5 just came out, and I feel like they're gonna try and really push that development into Real Unreal 5.
I'm sure it's gonna look great regardless.
Yeah.
Forza, it's gonna be there, always is. Is Rare gonna be there with Everwild?
Well, the game just basically rebooted development.
Probably because whenever we saw Everwild, thank you, it didn't look like a real game. Like Everwild looks like a art house project for Rare, and if I'm being honest, I'm not really. You can make an argument that Xbox has kind of really just let Rare do whatever they want. Like it's kind of been just Sea of Thieves for them for the last, I don't know, 6 years.
Probably longer than that, honestly. Also, I'm back.
Yeah, so I don't really know. Everwild better be a banger, or we're gonna see a situation where it's kind of looking like a BioWare thing, where it's like, okay, you make one good, quote unquote good, game with Sea of Thieves. I don't know. That's just kind of where my head goes with them.
This is where I kind of agree with Eric. I think they could be doing Banjo-Kazooie, a new game or a reboot or remake or whatever. So, while they're also making Everwild, because I don't know how big Rare is, but I feel like they're big enough where they can crank out a Banjo-Kazooie game.
Playground games. Hopefully we see Fable. There's a lot of leaks going around saying that we won't see it, but I hope we do. Ninja Theory has Hellblade, and
I hope we see Hellblade because the last time they
we
showed
saw
the
that.
Game
Yeah, it
Awards,
looked good. The Initiative has Perfect Dark. I don't think we see that
no, I don't think we see
because
it.
from what we've recently heard, it's kind of been going through some problems,
Yeah.
which is a consistent, which could factor into what you talked about earlier. I feel like every time we hear about a Microsoft studio, we hear about upper management issues and games being delayed, games not being ready. So
Yeah, it feels like there's like no direction for these like
there's
new
two.
studios.
I saw an article. Some dude who says he worked for some company for Xbox said that there's like it's so hands off from Xbox. Like they just give you the money to do what you want to do, so it leaves these middle management dudes to like try to manage a full game, and it just ends up never really working out. But I don't know if that's true or not. Undead Labs, I think we see maybe the third State of Decay.
Yeah, probably get like a quick trailer for that. I feel like that should have that up a little bit ago.
Yeah. Compulsion Games, those guys made the We Happy Few. I think we probably see a little bit of whatever their next game. It says here unannounced Project Midnight dark fantasy third person action adventure.
Huh.
Yeah, that's supposed to be their like narrative over the shoulder.
That might actually interest me for once out of all these
Yeah.
studios.
And then Pat, comment on Compulsion removal.
And I never really played Be Happy Few. Didn't really interest me.
One game that I think I saw was leaked to be the main of the show is Obsidian's Avowed.
Please.
It's ready to be shown off, so they say. And along with this other game they have, it's called Pentiment, which is I guess going to be some type of. It's an RPG made by the guy that did Pillars of Eternity, which is their really popular CRPG series. Which Avowed takes place in the same setting. Apparently this Pentiment is going to be like a Disco Elysium kind of RPG, so I hear. So
Obsidian's working on a lot.
yeah, they also have Grounded, and they also have the Outer Worlds too.
Yeah.
In Exile, the guys that are doing Wasteland have a new game coming. This is it's only been described as a AAA first-person RPG steampunk.
Huh. That could be interesting.
Yeah. And then Double Fine, new IP unannounced. Mojang, maybe we get Minecraft stuff, even though I don't think so.
We're getting Minecraft 2.
Let's go, Minecraft 2.
Let's go.
We're not getting Minecraft 2.
Do they still do Minecon?
Yes,
Is this still cringy?
probably.
Okay, how long before we get Fortnite Con?
I'm surprised
Fort
we
Con.
haven't yet. But
Fort Condor.
on Minecraft topic, though, they just recently threw out a big update for that a couple days ago. The Wilds update, I think it was
Like
called.
new
Okay,
biomes,
Jim Bob's
right?
shaking his head yes to me on that one. Yeah, they had 2 new biomes and a couple new mobs, some new items, craftable stuff. It's interesting. I really like that Minecraft is still adding new stuff to the point where you can really find any biome that will be on real Earth at some point. I think it's just definitely neat. They added frogs, but their baby forms, instead of just being smaller versions of frogs, literally just start off as tadpoles, which is super neat. It's the first time they've done something like that in the game. Okay, so I lied. Maybe there's another Xbox
Hold on.
presentation thing I like. I like Minecraft.
Quick pause. Would you guys own a frog?
I like frogs.
Now, what if this frog could talk?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, definitely.
Even better.
What if you didn't like what it had to say? Like, what if it was what if it, what if it was like mentally insane? Like, it was like, it's like the Patrick Bateman of frogs.
I mean, I have a toilet, so I mean, I could just throw him in the toilet if he keeps talking trash on me.
That's savage. Okay.
I see. You just flush this sentient being down the toilet.
If he hurts my feelings, maybe.
That's wild.
Eric, would you still own a frog with murderous intent?
I don't think a frog could ever kill me. I mean, maybe, I don't know.
If it was poisonous.
Oh, true. Hold up. Is it poisonous
on.
or venomous,
Are
or is it just a frog?
I thought only toads can be poisonous.
Frogs can be poisonous or venomous.
It can give you warts if it's like a bullfrog.
Okay, that actually not already pass on that
Eric's
one.
done. He said
I've already
worse
got
than
some
that.
skin issues going on. I don't need any
Uh,
more.
Eric is a known fraud catcher.
Yes.
Okay, let's get back to the Xbox thing.
Do we have to?
Well, yeah. So that was all of the Xbox Game Studios. Next is just their publishing. So this is just like stuff that they're gonna be publishing. So that's like stuff like Contraband and stuff like that. Bethesda. Someone was telling me recently they don't think we're gonna see Starfield. I think was that you?
It was me.
Yeah, I think it was it. Starfield's gonna be there. I don't know what you're talking about.
Once again, my thing with that is they literally just announced a month or two ago that it's getting delayed because it looked bad. Why would you show off the game if it only a couple months later if it still looks bad?
Because you can trailer that bad boy up and make it look good.
But
Just record some gameplay, get
then
stuff
what
that doesn't look
happens-
jank.
But then what happens if it doesn't look anything like that when it comes out? And
It's not the first time.
I know, but I'm aware. But that's why I'm saying. That's why I don't think it's going to be there. Now, granted, with the mandate that people are apparently reporting on, where it sounds like every Xbox studio has to put out gameplay for their projects right now for this presentation, I feel like, yeah, there's probably a chance it's going to be there.
And this is also
But it's not going to be a good idea.
This is also their first conference since the merging. So, Bethesda's got to show up with something.
They're going to show up with something, but I don't think it's going to be Starfield.
It's not going to be Elder Scrolls.
They have a whole lot of other IPs outside of, like, the ones made by that company.
Okay.
Wolfenstein might come off with
Before we move on,
something.
Pat, Starfield, is it there, yes or no?
Yes, it is.
Alright.
I think we'll get a gameplay trailer.
It's not going to
So
look
there
good.
is-
It's not going to look good if it is there.
Elder Scrolls Online probably is going to be there.
Oh, yeah, probably. They just don't they have a new expansion either coming out or it's
Well, hold
about
on.
to
Have
be
they
out?
confirmed a time on this show?
90 minutes, I think I saw.
What is that in hours?
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Thank you, Cameron.
Look, everyone knows I can't do quick math. Come on. This is a staple that we will continue to.
Whoop.
Who?
Well, I wasn't aware I had Discord on the laptop. Okay, that's good for future reference. Say this is still a pilot, so we're all good. Jim Bob, hit me with the clapping emote right now. Thank you.
All right, cool. And we'll move on to ID, possible Quake reboot in the works.
That would be hype.
I have no preference.
I think it's too soon to see anything new for Doom. So
Yeah.
if anything, it'll probably be Quake. Yeah.
And then we have Machine Games.
Probably Indiana Jones.
You think? I'm
Yeah.
thinking Wolfenstein 3 more likely than Indiana Jones.
Well, I think that company is working on
a bunch
Indiana
of
Jones.
stuff.
Yeah, and I think Indiana
Well,
Jones.
Machine Games does both.
Yeah.
Right, but I think their main team is working on
Oh.
the Wolfenstein guys are working on Indiana Jones.
So who's working on Wolfenstein? The B team?
I don't know.
Maybe the people that did Youngblood?
Oh, true, possibly.
Oof.
That was a new team, I thought, wasn't it?
Sure hope not.
And we got Arcane, Redfall. I think Redfall might be there.
It's possible. Once again, another game that also
and then
got
we-
delayed, but
We will probably get the Ghostwire, like get hype coming to Xbox soon, kind of thing. I never played Ghostwire, so
you know what else we're gonna get coming to Xbox that we've seen 5 million times through PlayStation? Deathloop.
Oh yeah, I completely skipped over Deathloop because that game looks like trash.
Yeah, we're gonna see the "It's coming to Xbox" trailer, and I'm going to be really upset because we just got out of seeing it for a whole 2 years from PlayStation.
Yo, Pat, give me your Deathloop take that we always talk about.
It's very overrated.
And if it wasn't,
Oh,
Yeah.
if it came out during a busier year of gaming when it did, it would not have even been nominated for Game of the Year.
I 100% agree with that. That game does not look like anything special. It looks like generic Bethesda shooter number 52. Nothing great.
so I'm down to the Activision side. I don't know why they have this on there because there's technically
Do we see Activision stuff?
No.
Even though the
I
deal
don't know
doesn't
why
go
that.
through?
I don't know. I mean, we could see them at like maybe like on the show floor, but I don't know why it's even on here. But yeah, Modern Warfare 2.
That's about it.
Yeah, it's. I look at the Activision thing. And it's let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 studios,
Yeah.
and they all work on Call of Duty.
Yeah, there's like 2 rumored games from Toys for Bob, but once
Yeah,
again, they're currently working on the new
it's,
Call of Duty as well, so I don't
yeah.
know why they're
And
even
then
rumored
Blizzard
at this point.
has a couple different things coming on: Overwatch, Diablo Immortal, Diablo 4, Hearthstone and WoW, and apparently there's a survival game, new IP, and an unannounced project.
Yeah, the unannounced project's been going around for a while now. Once again, I don't think we see anything Activision or Blizzard during this
No, I don't
presentation,
think
though.
so. I mean,
Maybe some more Modern Warfare 2, if
well,
anything.
now that Call of Duty is going to be back with Xbox, we'll probably see a pre-order on Xbox and get a free limited edition skin for your gun that makes you shoot farts or something like that. I don't know.
Nice.
The fart gun.
Yeah, or the shark gun.
I think we'll probably also get a bunch of Game Pass game reveals.
Oh yeah.
Indie at Xbox.
Silksong for Game Pass.
Look, I saw a leak today that Silksong could be coming day one Game Pass. If it does, I'm gonna lose my mind.
I was gonna
go crazy, go
I
stupid.
had to tell
Yes.
Zach, because Zach saw that leak last night, and I was like, "Don't tell Pat. It'll be way better if he doesn't see it." Now I'm a little upset you actually saw that.
It was like one of the first things I saw this morning. I'm like,
Aw,
man,
man.
don't do this to me, please. Don't get my hopes
Woke
up.
up to pain.
It doesn't exist, so I mean.
Yeah,
we might
it's
not-
a mass hysteria that we've all undergone.
Yeah, Silksong is not a real game. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and pass on that shark gun. No, thank you on that.
no to the shark gun. Okay, now
No.
let's go back to that guy that's playing Pong.
Okay.
You've gone back in time, and you're telling him that there's a game
Mhm.
that you can shoot a realistic looking gun and
Yeah.
it shoots out farts.
Farts. Okay.
Listen,
First question: Did the term fart exist back when Pong came, or was it just still like toot or? Well, I mean, how long has fart been around as like a slang term for that? Because
what do you mean a slang term? It's not a slang term.
I grew up hearing toot and stuff like that when I was younger. I didn't realize fart existed until I got to like middle school.
Rootin', tootin', fartin', shootin'.
Yeah.
I don't. Okay, let's 1 second. Let's look up the word fart. And
I'd say when did that
see-
originate? Like when did it start getting commonly used?
Fart.
This is a beautiful
flatulence,
segue.
also called gas. Okay, hold on. That's.
I mean, yeah, flatulence. Yeah, I mean that's
Here we go.
when did fart start being used?
Origin.
Uh-huh.
It's derived from Fjarting in Old English
Okay.
and Fürsen in German,
Okay.
and it says that it's mentioned all the way back to the 1800s.
Like the actual term fart or those other terms?
Use over time for fart, and it starts at 1800.
Okay. Wow.
So
Do you think Abraham Lincoln has said the word fart?
See, that's what I'm wondering. I feel like it's just something that wouldn't be used back then.
that's actually a good point. Would Abraham Lincoln have said fart? I don't think so.
Anyway,
No, don't anyway this. We're going deeper into
So
this right now.
hold on. Let's talk about how Eric thought that people playing Pong wouldn't know what farting is.
Well, because I figured you wouldn't use that term back then. There's a lot of cruder terms that weren't used back then that we use nowadays. Like, granted, it's not even like that long ago, but it actually no, it's
That's pretty long
Pong was
ago.
like 40, 50 years ago now, something like that.
Probably longer.
it was
Possibly a
like
little bit
70s.
longer, actually. Yeah, it's like 50-ish to 60-ish years, somewhere in there.
All right. Okay. Let's move on to the next topic now. Which
Okay,
is
fine. You guys are cowards. You want to escape this topic. I get it. Let's move on.
we've digested the topic, and it will be turned into farting later.
Okay, I was about to ask that. Okay, cool.
So we kind of heard some feedback on the previous episode, and some people wanted us just to have a more of a generalized moment or discussion about just a topic someone brings. So yeah, we're gonna be trying something like that out now. So I think our topic was, what is the most influential game to us,
Personally, as
Yeah.
in not like
like as a group? But because if we had to pick a group, I think we would pick Paragon.
oh god, yeah, probably. Sadly,
That's like
But-
one of the first games we all played together. But anyway, yeah, it's for personal, like what game really shaped you as a person.
yeah. Not so. Just as a clarification on top of that, once again, influential doesn't mean like in the game industry. It doesn't have to be a good game. It's just got to be something that you grew up with that really shaped like your taste in video games today, or something that like really spent a lot of time on growing up that you very vividly remember. So who wants to start this one off?
Pat.
Okay,
Oh,
good.
me? Okay. Well, I kind of have two because I've gone through
I
like
have
two.
two franchises.
I've
as
gone
well.
through like two different stages of my gaming life.
Okay.
Madden.
So
Oh,
the
no.
first game, well, Madden is always there, just dwelling in my life.
Madden is a constant
Yes.
reminder of pain.
Yes.
Couldn't be me.
Nah, but I
Unfortunately,
would
it's
say my first game is probably Halo 2. That game that was like, I think that was the first rated M game I've ever played. And it kind of changed how I played like shooter game. It made me a first person shooter gamer. And then the couch co-op with it
Gaming.
was, yes, maximum gaming. The other one it's kind of more recent. It's Dark Souls 3. Up to that point, I only played, like, I was huge into Call of Duty, huge into Halo 3 and 2 and all that. I played like a lot of Battlefield. I played a lot of first person shooters up until Dark Souls 3, which I bought on a whim because I thought it would look interesting. And then that game kind of changed like the games I played, where I pretty much only play single player games now, and I rarely touch multiplayer games.
Yeah.
And this like idea of like games as an art form that Dark Souls has really made me push to trying out these newer kind of games. Like another example is Hollow Knight, a game as an art form. Just these environmental storytelling games and single player games that you can really get yourself invested in. That's a lot of what I play right now. That's because of Dark Souls 3, which is, I'd say, probably my favorite game of all time. And I play a lot of the From Software.
Dark Souls 3.
Yeah, Dark Souls 3. It was Halo 2, and then Dark Souls 3. So, but yeah, those two are probably my most influential.
I can actually kind of I was about to say, when you were talking about how when you started playing Dark Souls, it kind of changed the way you play games, because we've been friends for a very long time. So it's very clear, like, because like you said, we used to play a lot of first person shooters, and then like as we got older, like you started playing like Dark Souls and stuff. So like it's even like, I feel like even Eric can see it too. Like a lot of like your game picks have completely changed due to pretty much just the FromSoft games in general, and that's pretty interesting how like one game can pretty much change your entire outlook on games, like in general.
Exactly.
So so Eric, I don't know if you want to go or if you want me to go. I have my picks. So
I was about to say, I'm thinking a little bit, but I would like to do a little tiny spin-off based on something Pat said earlier. I thought it was interesting how he said Halo 2 was his first rated M game he ever played. Cameron, what was your first one, real quick?
well, I was playing Mortal Kombat when I was super
Okay,
young.
okay.
Mortal Kombat was probably my first experience with playing a violent video game. That and Grand Theft Auto.
Okay. Mine, interestingly enough, was Resident Evil Director's Cut on the PS1 was the first
yeah,
one
I played
played.
Resident Evil 2. Yeah.
That one definitely was my first jump into the horror genre, and was my first. I saw like a zombie, that initial zombie cut from the beginning.
Yeah.
Shot it dead. It started to get back up after I thought it was dead, and I turned off the system.
Never went back.
I actually have played it a little bit more since then. I every now and then I go back and I try to play it, but even like the original Resident Evil still scares me sometimes to this day.
Yeah, we're playing through the remake of Resident Evil,
Mhm.
Pat and I, trying to get through all the Resident Evil games hopefully before Remake 4 comes out. But Resident Evil is scary.
Yeah.
It is a scary game, even now. So, I can only imagine what people were like when that game first came out, because there's probably nothing like it. I mean, I'm unsure on if Silent Hill came out first or not.
I think Resident Evil 1 was first.
But
I don't
even
quote me on
still,
that, but
it's
I think
still
Resident
so
Evil 1
early.
came
I doubt
first.
people were like used to seeing stuff like that in
Yeah.
a video game. So
Playing through this first Resident Evil game kind of made me appreciate this. I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but these tank controls and the cameras, because I feel like it's really effective for Resident Evil, more so than when we played through the Metal Gear Solid games.
I agree.
Definitely
it
you get the
adds-
horror vibe.
It's like how I've heard it described before. Like that's the jank of the tank controls is a part of the fear. Like, I actually think that might have been a Maximilian video I watched. Like
Yeah.
the restriction, like how do you feel restricted and how you can control your character and what you can do and what you can see, makes the game scary.
Yeah, because if you start panicking, you lose
Yeah,
all sense of what you're doing. and
we've
you-
literally had moments in the playthrough where like we can't even control Chris because we're so like, what is going on?
Never forget when you walked through that door and the spider was coming down the wall.
Yeah,
and immediately left the room.
I did the quickest 360 I think I've ever done in a video game right at the door because I was like, giant spider? I don't think so. And then immediately got licked by a giant tentacle from the like floorboards.
Hot. But anyways, on that weird topic, yeah, I just thought that was an interesting little bypass right
I think
there.
they were
because
farting in Resident Evil.
Probably.
You think zombies fart?
God, I hope not. That's gonna smell awful.
Like, what crawled up there and died? Oh, you.
Ugh.
That was
Yeah,
bad. I'm sorry.
I just thought that was a neat little subject since Pat brought up that was his first rated MG. I've never thought about that
is
question
actually
before.
interesting. I wanted to say definitely mine was probably Mortal Kombat. That's gonna be my lock-in answer.
Okay. Yeah, but Cameron, you can definitely go
Okay.
next on your most influential games because, like I said,
So
I've got a lot.
I've been doing a lot of thinking, trying just to think back on like my gaming origin, and a lot of it was Mortal Kombat in the early days. So I want to say Mortal Kombat definitely has kind of like I had a very loose like my mom was like, you can play certain games. She was never really like on me about like blood and gore and stuff. So I never really had a problem with emulated games. So Mortal Kombat really kind of already opened my eyes to like violence in video games. But if we're gonna talk about games that shaped me, two franchises come to mind. Call of Duty,
Mhm.
as cringe as it might be to think now, but I mean, for a while there, Call of Duty was like on top.
It
And
was
then
the shooter game.
yeah, and another one, Halo. There was just many a nights playing Halo co-op with various people in my life, always wanting to play Halo, and then Call of Duty. Even I'm talking about Call of Duty like on PS2,
Right. Yeah.
like just military campaigns, stuff like that.
I even played a little bit of Call of Duty on like the GameCube, that Medal of Honor, and look.
Yeah,
we
and then
rose
also,
up
and
from
then
there.
yeah, like so Call of Duty, Medal of Honor, stuff like that. Really got me into first person games. And then just tons of multiplayer shooters is pretty much influenced me. And but if we're gonna get like on a deep level, like what's made you like really think about just next level stuff. So I want to say my first thing is I want to say Red Dead Redemption.
Okay.
When that came out, absolutely blew me away, and that's when I started to realize, like I didn't know it then, but like that's when I started to really appreciate games as art, like how Pat was saying. I don't know if you remember, Pat, when Red Dead Redemption came out and I got it on 360,
Yeah.
and then you would come over and we would just play it and just be like, the future is now. and then that also just continued right on into Skyrim. When Skyrim came out, I was like, the future is now. And then yeah, so I think I'm gonna lock in Call of Duty, Halo, and Red Dead Redemption as very influential games on my taste. And then also probably The Walking Dead.
Oh, the Telltale series.
Yeah, the first season of the Telltale series, because that's the first game to ever make me cry.
God, that
Really?
first season made me
So,
destroyed me. It destroyed me.
that awoken my like a sense of being like, not every game has to have really intense gameplay. You know what I mean?
That's fair. Yeah.
So, yeah, but I mean, yeah, those influenced my like outlook and all that stuff. And then it's really hard. I think the point of the topic was to be like what has influenced you as a person, and it's hard to pick one game. I feel like
Yeah.
because I feel like games leave an impact on you regardless. So like another one is, if let's get real deep here, like Red Dead Redemption 2, and then like the character of Arthur Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
Like the impact I feel like that's left on me of being like, okay, what does it mean to be I don't know, like I don't know, what does it mean to be like a man or something like that? You know what I mean? Like, just what does it mean to be the guy, like the go-to guy? You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. It's just like I feel like you can. I feel we can have an entire 2-hour episode dedicated to like games that's influenced you, and then like Master Chief. I feel like in some type of way has also left an impact on me. I don't know. Like I'm just thinking of a bunch of characters in games that have left like influential impacts on my life.
I definitely think this is a topic we could definitely dive
Yeah,
into a little deeper in a full
like I'm sure
episode
you
if we
can even
wanted
talk
to.
about like Final Fantasy characters.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
Cloud himself. Like Cloud is a good one. Cloud, trying to remember who you really are, kind of stuff like that.
The maturity of Squall's character from Disc 1 of Final Fantasy VIII just being whatever, doesn't really care, to
Yeah.
by the ending of the game actually like enjoying people and friends and breaking out of his shell and wanting to actually do something to protect his people for once. Like there's a lot of good characters in the
Kingdom
Final
Hearts
Fantasy
is
universe.
usually all about like growing up. You know
Growing
what
up,
I mean?
friendship. There's a lot of themes in Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, and of course all these games that you're talking about now are like not exactly on my list, but are definitely honorable mentions because
Yeah.
like man, I grew up with the Final Fantasy franchise. I grew up with Kingdom Hearts. Grew up with a lot of JRPGs, honestly, just because my dad was really into them at
Right.
the time. Sorry, are you done with your list? Can I? Can
No,
I go
well,
on
yeah,
mine?
yeah.
Okay.
I think I've nailed my franchise list. I mean, one last mention, probably the Mass Effect
Oh yeah.
trilogy has influenced a lot of what I look for in games. So, but with that, I'll hard cap my list.
Sick. It definitely. I think this is. I think this has definitely opened up to a future episode where there's not a lot of news. We could definitely dive into this a lot more in depth. But for me right now, because I definitely need more time to think about this too, because I have grown up with very, very severe ADHD. So for me to think of a few games that really influenced me or that have captured my memory or were able to keep me sitting down in one place long enough to play through a game, it's really, really hard just to limit it to a couple. Um, but if I had to pick some of the ones that really stand out right off the bat, Pokemon Crystal on the Game Boy Color was a big one for me. It was the first time, like I played Pokemon Blue and Pokemon Yellow before that growing
Crystal's
up,
dope.
and they were both really good. But something about Pokemon Crystal, like, and I played Gold before Crystal came out, and Crystal's just like the same game but with some extra stuff in it and some extra details, some extra Pokemon you can catch. But something about that one really stood out to me as like when I was growing up. It came out, I think, in a very detrimental part of my life where I had just really gotten to know our friend Andrew fairly heavily around that time.
Mm-hmm.
And he also had Pokemon Crystal, and I just happened to have a link cable. Even though I didn't really play with anybody, I don't remember why I had a link cable, I just had one. So, me and Andrew, we had this goal where we were like, hey, let's both play through Crystal, make really good teams. By the time we've beaten everything, all 16 gym leaders, we've done the red battle, we can go ahead and have a battle together against each other. And we did. And I feel really bad because I definitely took down Andrew's big Pokemon, like the one he really spent a lot of time on, which is his favorite Nidoking at the time. Because at the time, my favorite Pokemon was Espeon, which is a hard counter to Nidoking. But it was just one of the first times I've really, like, outside of, like, sitting down with somebody and playing, like, you know, like a fighter game on the PlayStation or something like that around that time. It was the first time I actually did something for a while, put some time and effort into something, and then had a really meaningful experience by the end of it. And I think to that point is why I still, even though I don't play Pokemon with a lot of people anymore, like me and Andrew will still play every now and then, me and our friend Zach Papin. Yeah, I got a couple friends that play Pokemon still, like, heavily with me. But no matter how little or how much everybody else plays, I always, to this point, play through the entire of every single Pokemon game that comes out, as far as the mainline ones at least, and raise a team competitively, just in case anybody hits me up, whether it be Andrew or somebody else. Hey, you want to have a battle? Oh yeah, I'm ready. I got one.
Yeah.
I got you.
Always get that thing on me.
Pokemon is one of the few games that will get me to sit down consistently every day after work or on the weekend and just do nothing but play that game. Outside of Pokemon, though, once again, Final Fantasy just as a franchise is really big for me. It really opened my mind a lot back when I was like really impressionable, and I actually wanted to be an author for a little while, because of some of the stories from those games, because they were just so phenomenal. They were so, like, especially as a younger like as a child to a young teen, like those kind of things blew my mind back then. Those kind of stories. But if I had to pick one game from the Final Fantasy franchise that sticks out, it's once again Final Fantasy Tactics. Tactics in my younger childhood was really big to me. To this day, if you were to sit down and play Tactics, it has one of the best written scripts in a video game history. Like, the story is phenomenal. The way the characters talk and interact with each other, wonderful. It's such a very well done historical, political, religious, like, it touches on a lot of these, like, things throughout
Big
modern
themes,
day life.
big
Yeah.
themes.
A lot of big themes there that stuck with me as a kid and really influenced the way I thought about things. I had a lot more of an open mind to a lot of more things growing up because of that game, I think. More modern day Final Fantasy impact, Final Fantasy 14. Not even as the joke of like, oh yeah, no, it's an addiction. It's more just, it's something I have spent a lot of time into. Once again, I'm very proud of myself for being able to stick with a single game as long as I have with
it's
14.
very impressive. It's a commitment.
And I've made a lot of good friends over it. A lot of my internet friends that I didn't have a lot in common with outside of a couple things all got into 14 for a period of time, and that was a really good time of my life. So yeah, Final Fantasy 14's big. If I had to pick one more big game that really influenced me growing up. God, this one's gonna be a really weird one because it doesn't make any sense. There's no, it's a one-off game. It never got anywhere. Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg on the GameCube.
I see.
I had a really good friend in 5th grade named Wesley. He was a very, how to put it, he's one of those kids that growing up he had a lot of allergies. He was always sick. There was always something wrong with him. One of my closest friends at the time, that's also when I met Phil back in the day. Me, Phil, and Wesley all went to the same school in 5th grade. We were all in the same class. All really good friends. We go over to Wesley's house every now and then. Wesley always had like the newest GameCube games or whatever. Like, he always had the newest stuff. So Billy Hatcher came out and he was like, yo, you guys gotta play this game with me. And we were like, okay, yeah, sure. It looks funny. And, you know, it's some spin-off game made by the Sonic team. And back then, Sonic team, you know, as much as people dump on the games now, like Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 had just come out. Everyone was sitting there like, yo, these games were amazing. So of course this new game's gonna be cool.
Sonic is never gonna make a bad game.
Yeah, back then, yeah, that's what it really felt like. But you
Sonic
had
Frontiers look bad.
oh yeah. Gosh, Billy Hatcher was just a weird game. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. It's just a really cutesy 3D platformer game, but there was a multiplayer mode where you could fight against your friends. You would smack each other with the giant eggs. You would hatch them into monsters and use their powers to knock out your opponents. It was just a good time. And after 5th grade, we all went to 6th grade, and me and Phil both went to the same middle school. But Wesley wasn't there, and we weren't sure. We don't even know to this day what happened to Wesley. We've not seen him since. We don't know if he moved, if he ended up passing away
this
early.
took a dark turn.
But yeah, we've never seen Wesley since, as far as I'm aware. I've asked Phil multiple times if he's ever figured out what happened to Wesley, and he still has no clue. As far as I'm aware, he may have found out something I just haven't heard yet. But yeah, and it was weird because you would even try reaching out to Wesley's like phone number and stuff, and you know, it would say the phone number is disconnected, that kind of stuff. So we assumed he probably just ended up moving and not telling anybody, because you know, back then we didn't have phones. It wasn't like we could just message each other like, hey, I'm moving, maybe you should come hang out one more time or something. It's just all of a sudden just gone.
Maybe Wesley never existed.
Who knows? But at the end of it, I think I hadn't played Billy Hatcher since that time, and it was at a GameStop probably like 10 years ago now, where I was like just walking around and they were just about to start phasing out GameCube games out of their used sections. They were all in like the bin for like $5 or less. There was a copy of Billy Hatcher in there, and I picked it up because I was like, man, I remember this game. It was a lot of fun when I originally played it with Wesley and Phil. So I picked it up. Luckily, the copy was actually in pristine condition for $5. A shocker back then, because those bargain bin games from GameStop back then, it was either the game was absolutely damaged or it was just barely playable. And I booted it up. I played through the entirety of it in a couple settings. It's not a long game as far as the campaign single player goes. All in all, one of the most solid 3D platformers I've played ever. It still holds up to this day, which is very surprising for a Sonic Team game. But no, it's one of those games where not even just outside of it being influential in my life, it does bring back a good memory of a good time I had when I was younger. And to this day, a lot of like the music and the themes of the game still come randomly into my brain. And I really wish Sonic Team would realize that a lot more people want a sequel to that game, or even just a remake of it. at this point.
Mm.
And I think that's probably where I'm going to end it here for now before I go too much deeper into things. Once again, I think this is definitely something we
Yeah,
could
I
dive
actually
into
wanted
another
to
episode.
loop back around and go into actually what made those games like Call of Duty and Halo influential. I feel like it was the fact of like the group of people I was playing with at the time.
Yeah.
Like I think it was me, Pat, and a couple of other people, other friends, that we would get on. And I mean like, especially for when Battlefield 3 came out, it was like you get home from school and you hop on your Xbox 360 and I was like you're playing till like 10 p.m. like every day.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean like absolutely grinding. Like we had Battlefield 3 when it came out, and we had like a group of like we had so many people playing with us that we would have to have like 2 squads like on the same server. And then
Right.
Battlefield 3 it was a squads of 4. And we would have like two squads of 4, and we were playing like hardcore, and then Pat couldn't get the game yet. So by the time he did get the game, I think we were all we called him bird rank, which is essentially prestiging in
Yeah.
Battlefield 3, and we were prestige within like the first like 2 weeks of the game coming out.
Oh my
Like
goodness.
it was insane. Like it was absolutely insane. So then Pat gets the game, and he prestiges like within like a week. Like I mean, he, like
Oh, I gamed.
like I mean, absolutely games, and then like the amount of stories that we could tell off Battlefield 3 alone are insane. But like it's completely like the aspect of gaming with friends, I think, is what really like no, it's the friends we made along the way kind of meme. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the absolute like the friendship in gaming, I think, is what's made me so like it's so like the lasting impact, I think, of those games I mentioned. Like especially Halo. Halo's another one. Like, you know what I mean? Like the amount of stories for Halo alone. And then it's nuts to me that we're still playing Halo, like Halo Infinite. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and like
something-
with oh sorry, let me cut you off. With Halo 2, it's like couch co-op. Just bring it back. Like couch co-op
Yeah.
is such a good bonding experience with someone. It kind of sounds a little cheesy, but I mean it's true.
No, it is. It totally is. But and I wish we could have played A Way Out in couch co-op,
Right.
but we ended up we played that over online because it was just easier. Yeah, couch co-op stuff is even. Let's take it back to a game you mentioned even earlier, like Madden. We would get together and we would play Madden, like
Yeah.
starting with Madden 10, Madden 2010.
Oh
We
my
would-
goodness.
Yeah,
That's
that's
forever ago.
when we really that's when the addiction started. That's when you can draw a line directly to Madden 10, and then we would just get together and we would just play co-op on that. That's where it started. When we talked about today at lunch the 12-hour Madden sessions, it used to be longer than that because it would be Pat would come over, we would play Madden from like 3 p.m. to like 2 a.m. Go to sleep,
Wake up, repeat.
repeat, and then go to sleep again, wake up and repeat, and it's all throughout the weekend. Then we'll be like, all right, see you tomorrow.
That's crazy.
So, I just bumped the mic with my chin.
Hey, you're fine.
So, yeah, games are influential, I feel like, and you carry those experiences.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like core memories that get formed around video games. You know what I mean?
Yeah, literally just even sitting here listening to you guys talk about like the couch co-op and other things, like people playing online. I've thought of like 5 other games now, but once again, I'm a
Yeah,
hold
there's
off
like
on those for
there's
now.
like so many stories that like I could tell from this couch co-oping with games, and then like I said, like actually real quickly, I want to slide in here with that Battlefield one of these Battlefield 3 stories. I think it's pretty funny. Well, it's pretty interesting. I don't know about funny. I'm gonna tell it anyway. You can't stop me unless Trump cuts the mic.
He could.
He could. No, but there was a so this is back when Battlefield 3, 2011, 2012 probably. Around when Skyrim came out, I remember. But so like streaming really wasn't really, it was like kind of kicking off, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like it wasn't really a thing. And they had custom servers where you could get on, and it was like a server hosted by some random jabroni, and you get on there and yeah, you just game in their server, and there was this guy who apparently was like a Twitch streamer at the time or something. He streamed,
Probably Justin TV back then, 'cause that's what Twitch ended up.
yeah, he was
coming
streaming.
from.
He was streaming somewhere, and it was like it was like a big deal.
Yeah.
And we hop in his server, and we were just absolutely dominating. I mean, it was like the Legend 47. Like we joined and we dominated the server, and we crushed him so hard. He invites us to his party, and then we're playing with this streamer, and we're like low key popular in the chat. Like we're like the
Right.
popular tag-alongs with the streamer. I know Pat remembers this.
Yeah.
And this dude was like the ace pilot of Battlefield. He would like do stuff with the helicopters that I've not even seen done in like those like only in Battlefield trailers. This guy
Yeah.
was doing that shit way before any of that. And it was just, I don't know, this is a very core memory that is formed around this the love for gaming. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's my story time.
You guys ever wonder if like we were old, we were kind of like not our current age, but slightly older when like the streaming stuff popped up, and we actually had the money to afford to be able to do it? Do you think we could have made it?
I think if I was older at the time, and like you said, I had the means, I would have definitely tried it. Cause like, I mean, why not?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's something that would have been interesting to try, like back then when it first was popping off. Now it's a lot harder to get into that kind of stuff because there's
Yeah.
so many more faces already developed out there for that kind of stuff. But I'd like to think if we had the chance as a group, we could have been like one of those like group things, like Hat Films or something
Yeah,
like
like
that,
back-
where you
yeah,
have
I
a group
think
like
so.
that.
Yeah, you know, it's easy to look back and say like, yeah, because it was so easy like to probably get noticed because no one else was doing it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it was just so many fresh ideas. But yeah. So Pat, thoughts, comments?
No, I mean, just like you said, just gaming is a generational hobby that you can just sink your life into.
Yeah, you
You
can
really can.
you
For
can-
better or for worse.
Yeah, you can like look at moments. I think all three of us could look at moments in our life and be like, this is the game I was playing at the time. This and it directly correlates to like why I was playing this game. Like there's even like games that almost come off like therapeutic. You know what I mean? Where it's
Yeah.
just like you go back to something. It's like oh, I'm having like a really hard time. I need to go play this game. You know what I mean? Like there's something that this is like mindless. You go back and play it because it like something to sink into to get away from something. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I think there's also games where it's like we can look back and I think some of our friendships wouldn't have been as strong if the games didn't exist.
Yeah.
Like my immediate brain went to, we met Zane, and well, I knew Zane for a couple of years, but we weren't like
and
close at
Pat,
the time.
you knew Zane too, right?
Yeah, I knew him in middle school.
Yeah, but say we weren't like close at the time, but me and Zane, like, you know, we were buddy acquaintances at the time, so we would bump into each other at like the comic book store or something, and we would say hi, we'd make a couple jokes. But it wasn't until I invited him to come hang out with us that one time and start. There was a plan to do a Yu Yu Hakusho abridged series way back in the day, and we were
Yeah,
gonna.
there was.
We invited Zane to come do that with us because he's a funny guy. Shout out to you, my guy. He came in at a weird time in our friend group. He was also dating someone that was just kind of whack back then too. They kind of try to control his life at the time. I know he'll think about that and laugh about that
Yeah.
right now too if he's listening to this. So it's to the point where he had a Bluetooth headset in his ear at all times. So if she called, he could immediately. So it was hard to really get him to do stuff at the time because
Yeah.
he was kind of in that relationship.
Yeah.
So I wanted him to be more part of our friend group and get to know everybody. But
Arizona iced tea.
yeah, the Arizona iced tea at all times. But he just wasn't able to do a lot of stuff. But not too long after I tried introducing Zane into the friend group, Paragon became a group game, and we got Zane really into Paragon with us.
Yeah.
And I think that was what really strengthened Zane's like part in the friend group, was him always playing Paragon with us, like every other night.
Well, not even just him. I feel like, because I don't know about when into relation like our big, as we refer to it, squad was forming. If Paragon was actively being, I know we were already all hanging out because we had played Paragon at your house. You were like, "Yo, check this out."
Yeah, like once.
Yeah, and then I was like, "Yo, that's pretty sick," which prompted me to get
Get a
the funny
PlayStation.
story of Andrew and I getting my PS4, which is one of the funniest moments I think of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get the PS4, and then then that us playing Paragon together convinces Pat to get his PS4. So essentially, Paragon's what made me get a PlayStation console on my own for the first time. So
Yeah.
and then just, I mean, absolutely, I hit up Pat at like 10 p.m. big Paragon LMAO.
Yeah.
Like just at random moments, and then those games just run for like an hour. So, um,
Man.
gaming is gaming for gamers who game.
Thank you, Phil Spencer.
Gaming.
Gaming.
Okay, on that gaming note, I think it's about time we probably look to start cutting this off.
Yeah, what's the runtime? 150. We're about
150. We are almost at 2 hours,
2
so I guess
hours.
it's
So
probably a good
we're
time
gonna
to cut it.
yeah, and we're gonna see what
Um,
the 2 hour format is like.
Yeah. So, upcoming next week, once again, as of tomorrow, we'll all be sitting around watching the Xbox Bethesda presentation. We'll
With
have
more
on-
Mountain Dew Hard.
Yeah, so we're gonna have more on that. Probably this upcoming episode. What we saw, what we liked, what we didn't like.
Yeah.
I know we got the Capcom presentation.
And we
We
got
got the Final Fantasy
Final
VII
Fantasy.
presentation.
Very busy
Poss-
week.
Possibly the Nintendo Direct if they decide to announce something out
Every
of nowhere.
week is a possibility for Nintendo Direct.
Oh, absolutely.
Never let them know your next move. Quote Nintendo.
Yeah. And I think just in general, there's gonna be a lot more stuff to look forward to this upcoming episode. I think we dug into a lot of really neat stuff here.
Yeah. And I
Um,
think you can kind of get an idea of what we're kind of going for. Like the schedule is so loose right now. Like, and I would love to do we could do entire episodes just on general discussion topics.
Oh, for sure. And I think
You
that's
know
gonna
what
be
I
something we do for future episodes once
Yeah.
news starts slowing down.
Yeah,
in
it's
the
just
next
that there's
couple
just so
weeks.
much news we have to get through.
Yeah, and I just recently found out that over Spotify, at least, and I guess I can pose the question to our YouTube listeners as well. I can put polls in Spotify. So I'm probably gonna put up a poll if I can get it to work. I'm gonna put up a poll asking what is your most hype, what's your most hype Xbox Bethesda possibility for tomorrow, or actually even better, instead of possibility, since by the time a lot of people will be listening to this, they may have seen the presentation by then. I'm gonna go ahead and state, what was your favorite part of the Xbox Bethesda presentation? I'll probably put the poll up officially after the presentation on Sunday. I'll
Right.
upload it to this episode on Spotify on Sunday after the presentation. And YouTube viewers can just comment below on what it was for them. If you guys enjoyed any of this content or want to speak on any of it, if you know us personally, hit us up on our socials. If not, find our YouTube channel. We're doing Arclight Studios as the YouTube channel. Feel free to leave us some comments. Might look into, if we get enough feedback, might look into doing
we
a social
have
media of some sort.
The email that we set up the podcast with too, right? That's
Right.
arclightbrigade@gmail.com.
Yes, if you guys want to write us for whatever reason, arclightbrigade@gmail.com. That will give us some feedback, anything you like about the show, anything you guys would like to hear more about. Yeah, just hit us up. Or if you connected with anything we've said today, for sure, let us know. We'd love to hear that. Outside of that, I think, yeah, once again, just look forward to the poll starting up tomorrow evening after the Xbox Bethesda presentation. What was your most exciting part of the presentation? What did you like the most about it? Feel free to comment on YouTube on that if you're watching over YouTube. Gaming.
Big thanks to Jabob.
Jim Bob back here being our silent mixer, make sure everything sounds good.
Making sure everything's recording, sounding good. It's like the man behind the curtain.
Stay gaming.
Yeah,
Gaming.
absolutely.
Stay drinking